Hi everybody, this is Vicki. Today I'm going to talk to you about how to make something like this. It is a very easy paper clip, of course, that will fit into your journals. You can see it holds paper. So in order to use this, and I'm going to leave this sample by the side, I have gathered my materials. Today I'm going to make 6 purple ones and 6 pink ones. These white pieces are slightly smaller. They are the liner. You can see they're about 1/8 of an inch smaller all the way around. And we will make 6 clips of each color, so that's 12 clips. This larger piece, which I've written on the back of, is 1 3/4 inches from side to side. It's 4.5 inches from top to bottom. In this case, because I'm always using scraps, this particular scrap was sideways. So it's not oriented vertically, but the pattern is such that it really doesn't make any difference. Okay. So, and here's the measurements for the inside piece, which is 1.5 inches wide and 4.25 inches long. So it's 1/8 of an inch on either side, as I showed you. We'll just have that again. So you have this little bit of stuff here around the edges. Now what this is going to do is go inside, and you're not going to see any of this, because we're going to fold them all in half. So let's proceed. The first thing we do, and let's start with the pink one because I have it in my hand, fold it in half, and do that very carefully. And then fold the white one in half. And this is cardstock, by the way. It's 90 pound. This is just actual paper. This is from a 12 by 12, as I remember, a 12 by 12 sheet of paper, and it is single-sided. So we need these two to go together. They're going to go like this, but it's going to be inside. Then we're going to take one of our 12 paper clips and simply fit it over the top of this. I need a punch here. There's my paper punch. Here we go. I have my tools in a drawer behind me. And I'm going to cut in the center of this, and I'm kind of always exact. So I put my 1 3/4 inch piece of paper here, and I mark it at about, it's 1 inch, 3/4, about 5/8 of an inch. So this would be the center here. And I'm going to punch 1/2 hole. I don't want the whole hole with my paper punch. I only want it about half deep. So I will punch that little hole right in the center. You can see how small that is. I'll put this right behind it. See how that's only 1/2 hole? What we're going to do is take the inside piece and feed that paper clip up through the hole. It's a little bit tough sometimes, but it will go. Depends on the size of your paper punch, but my paper punch is 1/4 of an inch, and these particular paper clips are slightly larger than that, so there's going to be a little lump at the top here. Now we have this. What's next? Glue. And my glue doesn't want to let go of the pin. Okay. So I'm going to line this up with this through the hole inside, and about 1/8 of an inch from each edge. And I'm going to hold that down, and I'm going to put a whole bunch of glue right over the paper clip, around the paper clip, on top of the paper clip, all along the edges. And then I'm going to fold this piece down while I'm still holding that plain liner in. Then I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to do the exact same thing on the back side. Be generous with the glue. You want it to stick. And there's going to be pressure on it from time to time when you're clipping a lot of things or bending it back and forth. So get lots of glue on there. And then simply, once again, fold that down. Line all those glued up edges, and apparently my trimmer doesn't cut quite right, so I see a little bit of white here. We can just nip that right off. Tiny little piece, and there's one. Okay. So to make lots of them at one shot, I tend to do a lot of mass making. I like to mass make things. If it takes, I'm going to make one, I might as well make a dozen. So I can do this with all my pink papers and just keep folding them in half. And once again, I always use my fingernail for the thing, but you can certainly use a bone folder, or my thumbnail is about as tough as it can come. So it doesn't bother it to shove paper down. But here we have all these pink ones folded in half. I'll make a little pile of those. Fold all the purple ones in half next, but you don't have to watch that part. Hi, I'm back. Okay, I have done all the purple ones and all the pink ones, and now we're going to decorate a couple of them to see how things are going. I've pulled from my stash a bunch of black and white and dark brown labels, some of which will be way too big, and some of which might work very well for us. So we'll see how that goes. I've got a smaller package here. Just interestingly, this is how I keep my supplies. I have these plastic containers that are about 5/8 of an inch by about 5.5 by about 4.5, or possibly they're 6. But they fit directly into a Kleenex box, which I have taken and stuffed things inside of. I've turned the corners down, flattened it out, and I keep putting these boxes in. And right now I have taken out this box with this stuff in it. And this box, one of the labels is much bigger, but I can store a whole bunch of boxes in here. Then I can just pick up and see what's in the box when I'm looking for something that has writing on it, something that has numbers on it, something that's an advertisement, something that's tickets or is colorful, more pictures, bright things, photographs. Anyway, this is the way I store my things, and I put that off to the side. So let's now get to the point of taking one of these. Let's take this one. And I have some labels, as I said. And I also dragged in some tissue paper that was used in some packaging. And it's not really tissue like wrinkly tissue, but it could be wrinkly tissue if I wrinkled it up. But I threw some leftover dye on it just to get rid of the dye, basically, and give myself some nice brown paper. So this has got a pink undertone. I had some pink left over that will go very well with that. So let's try taking a piece of this, just ripping it. Put that over there. And see how this would work. I'd like some untidy edges here. So some untidy edge. And then let's look for a label that might fit. This one might work. So if I turn this so that some of that pink shows, and then I put this on it, now we have a decoration on our little paper clip. That works for me. I work fast. I don't like to get hung up in overthinking things. So I'll put this tissue paper down. It's very wobbly. And I will ink up the edges of this label, and we'll go from there. Okay, I also have an abundance of these little tassels. These are smaller than my usual tassels, and they're a little hard to get through the get it to go through the loop, but it is worth it when it's done because they really look pretty. So there you have a finished item with a tassel, and I need a piece of paper. Here's an envelope, so that you can see that the paper clip itself works. It works. It hangs on the side. It hangs on the back. You can decorate the back as well if you choose. But that's how it works. So here's the way this works. Okay, so that's how things work with this. I'm going to go on and I will continue decorating all of these. I could do a purple one, I guess. And maybe I just have some plain brown without the pink in it. So just another little piece of brown to go on the background. Give my label something to stand on. And there we could go with that, or maybe that, or maybe something more, a little bit bigger. Turn it sideways. There, I kind of like that. So let's glue that down sideways. I really didn't think this paper was going to turn out all this well, but I made a lot of it because I had a lot of packing paper. And I had an amount of very strong coffee left over. So I stuck that just in a pan and poured the coffee over it. And 3 days later, I went to see how things were doing. And some of it was very dyed and some of it wasn't dyed very much at all. It's a pale color. So now we have a label on there, and let's put one of our little tassels on it here. It's hard to talk and think at the same time. I'm not good at that. And so now we have another one. This is number 2 done. Hoping that's in camera. So that's number 2 done. So now we have 2 of them done. So I'm going to cut off here. I'll speed things up. I'll go and finish all the rest of them. I'll decorate them, and then I'll come back and show you what they look like. Bye for now. Hi, I'm back. I've finished all 12 of them, and I'll give you close-ups of each one. In the meantime, I'm going to point out that there's a piece of paper on here, not the brown, but I used a piece of tissue. Actually, it's more like vellum that was used in a photography store, and I ended up with a box of it. And this is just alcohol ink poured on at random, allowed to set, dry, do whatever it does. Spritzed it with more alcohol to make more blobs of color. and I now use it for backgrounds, and it's the background on most of these purple ones, not that last one, but the purple ones. And then I use the brown on all of the ones that were based on the pink things. Some of them I put beads on. You can see how the beads connect to the dangle of the paper clip here. Some of those beads will be replaced by other beads. I know I just put some on to decorate them for today. Lots of them have the tassels on them still. I have still a few tassels left. I love tassels, and I will buy them from Amazon if I can find them, or Etsy, or any crafter that I can get tassels from. These are all rayon tassels that I've had for years. Okay, so now it's time to show you how putting things back in the boxes works. I've had them in these little trays so I could fish through and not disturb the box. I just shove them in. They're ready for next time. And these last little few, I just kind of pour in the side here, just like emptying a jar. Close the lid. So, there's a couple falling out here. Close the lid and back into my Kleenex box for the next time. And then this goes over off the side so that I have it ready for next time. So I will have my Kleenex box, my papers, my different labels and stickers. There's no stickers in this one. I have a separate box for stickers. Anyway, the cleanup is really easy when I do it this way because I don't have to fuss with trying to pick them all up from dib, 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 dib kind of thing. These bigger ones, I didn't use any of the bigger ones at all, so they just sat there. But that's okay, because sometimes I find one, then I'll just cut it in parts and use a piece of it. And that did not happen today, but it's there when I need it. I got these labels on Etsy, printed them out myself. The name of the shop was the Junk Journal Shop, I believe. And I had lots and lots of pages of really nice, precise, crisp printing. There's that. It goes back on the drawer, on the shelf. That's done. And now I'm going to do some close-ups of these so that you can see all of them closely. And I will be back. In the meantime, next week, I'll have another video. Bye.